Hey, what's up, guys? This video is about top ETFs to invest into the Trump administration. And what is an ETF? It's a collection of stocks, like a bundle in a particular, say, sector that you can invest in. Say it's a tech sector or energy sector that are bundled together. It's like an index fund. You know, the S&P 500. You have the SPY for or QQQ for, I believe, the Nasdaq. It just makes it easier to diversify your funds. It's because it's already done for you. Diversify being invested in different stocks in together. So this is particularly good when, again, as I mentioned, when we're investing in particular sectors. And with Trump, we can kind of predict what sectors are going to do well, at least high likelihood probability. One being oil and energy. Two being aerospace and military, connected. Three, financial. Four, infrastructure. And five, which I think is the most important, technology, because the technology is kind of the forefront of the advancement where you're going to see particularly good growth. And technology like Elon Musk, it would be very ill-advised to bet against Elon Musk at the moment, considering he's part of the Trump administration. So you might as well go with the flow here, but not go with the hype. But we're going to predict. We're going to be maybe ahead of the curve on some things here. So hear me out. We're looking at sectors that historically performed well under his policies, and what we're doing is diversify. The strategy is diversifying, and the beauty about ETFs is you can diversify without investing too much funds. Like if you have a lot of funds, still ETFs are great, but there's I recommend other things. But say you're like under 50 grand, ETFs are a great way to. We could be potentially looking at anywhere between 20 to 80% conservatively gains over the next year. And now we have 4 years of the Trump administration. That compounds greatly. Okay. So as I mentioned, the energy ETFs, the one in particular that I'm looking at is XLE. Okay. So Trump is all about energy. In his like rallies, he's talking about drill, 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 baby, right? And he makes fun of RFK because RFK is against oil because of the petroleum products and things. He's a health guy. And Trump's like, listen, RFK, you can do, this is my Trump impersonation, go after anything, go after the pharmaceutical companies, but just stay away from the oil, okay? He lets them loose, right? So that's a hint that Trump is going to expand things like Keystone Pipeline. Companies like Chevron and Halliburton are going to do particularly well. All of these companies are, I believe, are within the XLE. Okay, there's other energy ETFs, but that's a great one. ExxonMobil, Chevron, and energy-friendly administration. Trump is going to be okay. So oil's not going anywhere. As much as the whole. We're going to be living off solar panels and wind turbines. No, it's not happening, Greta Thunberg, right? We still live off oil, so it's going to be a major part. And I believe the United States, hopefully Canada too, other than Canada, are going to become more energy independent. Part two, aerospace defense. So Trump, in the previous administration, he always brags about how I rebuilt the military, okay, which I think he did a great job in upgrading the military, upgrading specifically the aerospace components of it. Nowadays we have a lot of drone technology being, cutting edge. Different types of hypersonic missiles are now being explored. There's going to be, I think, new developments there in this next administration where they're going to invest a lot of money the government is, into these companies. So there's going to be a lot of military spending. We're looking at Boeing, Lockheed Martin. I should mention the ETF that's going to be the ITA ETF, okay? where Boeing, Lockheed Martin, federal defense spending. I don't know if I'm going to mention much more of that other than, in times of war, these stocks generally tend to do well. So I hope there's not war during Trump administration, but even if there isn't, there's still going to be an interest to expand U.S. military, which I think is a good thing. Financial ETFs, one I was looking at in particular, XLF. So Trump has is major biggest part of his policies is economic for the United States. Tax cuts, deregulation, supports for financial institutions. So we have in this XLF ETF, we have like Berkshire Hathaway and JP Morgan are the big ones, other banking sectors. Do I have to go there? Trump is not anti that. He likes his money. I think he likes banking. He wants the United States to do well banking wise, like the financial powerhouse of the world. Okay, obviously, and it's based on his previous administration. I think that shows that he did do that. Part 4, technology, blockchain. So we have a company the ETF VGT and the ARK, Cathie Wood's ARK ETFs. Maybe I'll get into that a bit after, but I'll focus on the VGT one. So we're looking at all aspects of technology. Obviously, NVIDIA has done really well. We're looking at things like Apple, Google, Microsoft. I don't know which ones of those are particularly in this ETF, but you get the idea. In Tesla, but in as well, I could mention blockchain technologies ETFs, where that whole cryptocurrency is being created as well. There's quite a few of those as well, such as BLOK and BLCN. I plan on investing less than 10% in, maybe 5% in that, but those could be ones that could be high returns, high yields from. Okay, I think ARK ETFs, the Cathie Woods, they did really well under the previous Trump administration. I believe that there might be a resurgence of them because of things work in cycles. So we're looking at a new tech cycle. There was also a number of 3 years ago or 4 a shortage of chips, like microchips. Okay, and hopefully that's kind of being resolved now. So then once that's resolved, then all of a sudden the tech sector can take off again when there's not a shortage of those silicon chips. So the tech sector in general, and there's a lot of different ETFs. I mentioned some. They're the Cathie Wood ARK. There's different ARK ETFs, ARK K, ARK Q, ARK W, ARK X, which is a weird one. There's ARK X has to do with space technology, so Elon Musk, which I think has the potential to do really well. It's when it started, it was like this, and it came down, and then it flattened out for a while, and now it's curving upwards. So maybe get ahead of the curve. Like it could be a 10-year investment. Invest a few $1,000s in. It might be over time. You might do actually reasonably well on that. So, which is a good segue to my next point, which is how to diversify properly. And so the way to do that, obviously, in investing is to not overly invest in one sector. And I think the way this splits it up, the way that Trump normally, the sectors that do well under him, that's a perfect way to kind of hedge your bet. Okay, so you're not all invested in the tech sector. You could be a little bit more than others. You might go a little bit more tech than finance, or a little bit more aerospace military than infrastructure. But regardless, you're spreading things out. And you're not going 100% in buying Bitcoin right now. Don't, if you have $1 million and you're looking to invest, don't buy $1 million in Bitcoin. You know what I mean? It's like all in on that. Although, who knows, that might do well too. So, just the ETFs, like I mentioned, XLE, ITA, VGT, XLF, ARK-K. I believe all of these will perform really well under Trump's policies. Specifically, as soon as he gets in, a lot of these will spike because there's going to be confidence in these things. People are going to invest more into it. Okay, people will invest more into the United States in general, which is going to boost everything up. So you can trade these easily through. Also, over time, kind of a bet and forget strategy, I call it, which is averaging in dollar cost averaging in over time, where you just like as the name suggests, over time you just put money into these things and you just kind of let them go. Like it's a good way to, I think, if you did it properly. I know if you did this properly with specific ETFs and index funds based on the trends of the current times, you have potential to do really well. Now, if you have a lot of money, I wouldn't suggest like going all of the eggs in the ETF basket either, but you might have some invest more in real estate or some in some index funds more that are going to get 10 to 12% returns over time. But I think ETFs are a great way, specifically based on what administration we're dealing with, to get solid returns, and solid returns being, I predict, the 40 to 80% a year conservatively, easily, on the ones I particularly mentioned. We'll see in a year from now. Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe I'll revisit this in a year. A year ago I made this video on this, and this is what happened. Who knows? And if you're watching this 5 years from now, you can go back to this current date, in November of 2024, and type in all of those ETFs and see for yourself. Tell me that I'm wrong or that I'm right. If I'm right, maybe I'll be a financial advisor. Just joking. But it is what it is. So, I'm 13 minutes in this video. I think I covered it all pretty substantially in that amount of time. Maybe I'll just mention at the end here that don't go for what always the buzz is. Like at least too many eggs in that basket where all the hype is. Because if it's already at that hype stage, then it might be already too late. So don't go too heavily invested. And I think that's what we're seeing right now with Bitcoin. So I'm waiting things to cool down on the Bitcoin before I even want to enter into that. Although when there's other options like the blockchain ETFs, that's spread out. So even if one aspect of blockchain goes down, there's other ones that are coming up. Okay? So all kind of works out in the end. I'll leave it there. That's a good way to bring a conclusion to this. So we'll ask question, what do you think are the best sectors or ETFs or stocks in general to invest in this Trump administration? Leave in the comments section below. It'd be interesting to see in a year or two or 3 or 4 how it actually plays out and reflect upon this at this particular time. So I'll leave it there. Peace.